The following podcast is recorded and produced by Emerge, a media creators co-op, in affiliation with the network at bicbp-radio.com.
Hello and welcome to episode 64 of the Big Yak Podcast. It is I, Mike Pareto, alongside me as always, Nico Benny, and we have Jordan Parks back in the studio today. How are you, Jordan?
It's great to be back.
Back in business.
Oh yeah.
Welcome back in.
What's new with you, Jordan? What's been going on in the life of Jordan Parks?
Nothing. Football season's among us. So
Among us.
So haven't really been doing much. Just been crunching those fantasy lineups. Trying to win some money.
Yes, sir.
Not working out too well.
That's what we're all here for.
Yeah, that's all.
We're gonna make you some money by the end of the night. That's for sure.
I hope so.
You could be 0-4 in a $100 buy-in league like I am.
I am 1-3. So
You're 1-3.
Yeah, my big league. So we're right there.
Right there. Did you draft Cooper Kupp?
I did not draft Cooper Kupp. Who'd I take? I took Diggs, Allen, and I'm still 1-3. Those
Really?
are my first two picks, still 1-3.
Really?
Najee.
Oh yeah.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah,
Najee
did it.
There's the
Josh
three.
Jacobs too.
Josh, yeah, he's
Slow
been
start.
picking up, but slow start
Yep.
for sure. I mean, in that league, I drafted Cooper Kupp. Then I got Devontae Adams. When I did that, I'm like sitting here and I'm like, I'm riding high. I had Devontae Smith as a keeper, and then it started going downhill. Got Joe Burrow.
Yep.
Joe Burrow's been bad.
Joe Burrow been Joe.
Got J.K. Dobbins at some point. J.K. Dobbins went to the hospital.
Yep.
If you know what I mean. Jamal Williams got hurt. Jamal Williams was his replacement, and Jamal Williams was one of the best RB running backs last year. So it's been 0-4. So I'll tell you guys about the trade. I made a couple trades, which I like. I'll tell you about it later when we get into our fantasy football segment. But it's not fun when $100 buy-in and you're not 500. Or you have a winning record. It's kind of want to
Pressure's on.
Yeah.
Right?
kind of want to hurt yourself.
That same league, I'm 3-1. I'm sitting pretty.
Yeah, you're sitting pretty.
And I just made a trade and got back Jonathan Taylor, Alvin Kamara, and then Justin Fields, who just had a great game last week.
Mm-hmm.
I sent away? I sent away Christian Kirk, Isaiah Pacheco, and Tua, and then got back JT, Kamara, and Justin Fields. I was like, you know what? I'm in the position to do this, so why not? And now I get JT coming back. He practiced in full.
Oh, yeah.
Turn me up.
Turn you up. And speaking of that, we're going to go on to the rest of our show, starting with the NFL headlines. Jonathan Taylor, as you mentioned, he returned to practice today fully. Cooper Kupp returned fully. Von Miller returned fully.
That's
and
huge.
A bunch of others coming off their first 4-game IR stint. So some big names. Also, we have J.C. Jackson being traded from L.A. back to New England. And then Randy Gregory released. Two guys who signed pretty lucrative deals
Just a year ago.
and they're both not on the team anymore. I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, Randy Gregory has been kind of up and down, to be honest, throughout his career with Dallas and now with Denver. But J.C. Jackson was a guy who was a top 10 corner.
He was the top corner on the market.
Yeah.
When he went into free agency, and so that one was huge. But there's kind of that cycle of Bill Belichick players where they kind of are. I hate to say it, but they're like system guys where they get a good deal. They ball out for New England. They get the good deal. They go to a new team. They suck, and then New England gets them back for cheap. It's the same cycle. I mean, I can think of J.C. Jackson was one of them. Who are some other guys I'm trying to think of off the top of my head?
I know Gilmore didn't go back, but
Stephon
he's
Gilmore.
another one.
That's
His
another one.
production went down
Yeah.
for sure. Kyle Van Noy.
Kyle Van
is
Noy
a
is
guy.
another one. Yep.
Yeah, that's a big one. And then a couple other guys like Deion Lewis.
Yep.
I mean, he wasn't defense, but was still in the Bill Belichick team. So I mean, that's
Sony
a big
Michel.
deal. Sony
Same thing.
Michel. Yeah. So I mean, if you leave New England, it's kind of scary for you.
You lose the Patriot way, and you
Yeah.
can't go back.
Lose the Patriot way, and you just don't know what way you're going. You don't have a way. Bills send Miami back down to earth. I just want to say, we said it last week. Go Bills. Go Bills.
Yeah.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Simple as that.
How do we feel about that game? I mean, it was almost. I would probably say that was a perfect game.
That was probably the best game that I've seen Ken Dorsey call.
For
That is the best game in a very long time that I've seen Josh Allen play. It was very reminiscent of, remember the Bills and 49ers game from 2 years ago where everything was just working and it was just like a solid machine that didn't stop.
Right.
That's how it felt for me. It wasn't obviously quite on the level of the literal perfect game on offense from the round against the Patriots in the playoffs.
Right.
But yeah, this game gave me strokes of that 49ers game from 2020.
Yeah. Had to rep the Diggs jersey. I
Sir.
mean,
Three
I thought
tutties.
about wearing mine, but I was like, I don't know.
you should have.
Should have.
We could put you in the LaShawn McCoy jersey that we added to the set. I mean,
Yeah, Joe, if you're watching this, Mr. Joe Goodberry, Antonio Gates has been retired.
Antonio Gates has been retired. He might make a return, he might not. But as of right now, we got Shady McCoy. A little bit of a relevant, I guess, football player. Like as what he said. I mean, he was just like, you guys have some old timers, some random old timers on here.
Anyone who's watching, anyone who's listening, support us by buying some merch, and so that way we can go ahead
Update
and
the
upgrade
jerseys. We could have Big Yak jerseys, like Tank Talk. They have the Colts and the Bills.
Yeah, that is so cool. I just want to say that's sick. If you guys haven't seen it, check out Tank Talk and then check out their jerseys. They have just like ours, except their set's a little bit different than ours. Their nameplates say Tank Talk on them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they got the customs going on. So we're gonna have to, buy into that eventually. But right now, McCoy. AP,
Peterson.
Yeah, you gotta take what you got.
Running back graveyard behind us.
Running back graveyard. That's actually my jersey as well. The two jerseys, Gates and Peterson, those are actually my brother's jerseys. I think we talked about it on the show last week.
Yeah.
Just random players that he wanted back in his childhood. So.
If you can't tell, deep in the background over there is an Emmitt Smith, little bobblehead too.
Yeah,
so we're really riding into this old running back trade.
Yeah, I might be covering everything up, but
Number 22.
Yeah, so Emmitt Smith is back there as well. We also, Bills, Miami, any other, are we concerned, not as Bills fans, but NFL fans of Miami? I mean, from a fantasy standpoint, sports betting standpoint.
No.
Miami was a great team. The Bills just outplayed them in Buffalo. I mean, Josh Allen has never lost to Miami in Buffalo. So that is a huge portion that you have to play into that, where there's almost a mental game with it, with Josh Allen just kind of establishing his dominance over the Dolphins, particularly in Buffalo. So I wouldn't be worried if I'm a Miami fan. This was a tough game, but they're going to bounce back. It'll still be a dogfight for the division, I'm sure, because the Bills are due to drop a couple games coming up. All the way up until they face Philadelphia. Every team they face leading up to that point currently has a losing record. So the Bills could walk into Philadelphia 10-1. But I doubt that's going to happen.
Yeah, there's always a game or two where they just don't play to standard. And
I'm looking at this game, and not to get ahead of myself, but I'm looking at this game in London against the Jags. The Jags always play them tough. They're bound to drop a couple. So Miami fans, you're going to get your opportunity to take the division. I mean, it's a tie right now. The Bills only have a half-game lead. So if I'm a Bills fan, I'm looking back, and I'm still Miami's right behind us, breathing down our necks. We took the lead, but this race isn't finished. Miami, there's still time. There's a lot of season left. I wouldn't stress out about this at all.
Yeah. Bengals in peril. I mean, last week we talked.
Is it panic mode?
I think it's panic mode now. Even Joe Burrow said it today in a press conference that this is a must-win game.
Yep.
I mean, we asked Joe last week, and he said, "Don't panic right now, but it's getting to that territory." I think you panic.
If they drop to Arizona, I mean, that's a brutal loss just from morale standpoint and just from a team standpoint. On paper, Cincinnati is far and away the better team in every single position. If you go position by position, Cincinnati is the better team through and through.
Yep.
So it's going to be tough. You can maybe argue offensive line. But other than that, Cincinnati is clearly the better team. This is a team they should win against. And, I mean, yeah, if they end up going out there and losing this game, tank for Marvin Harrison.
Marvin Harrison.
You're losing T. Higgins next season. You can't pay him, so shut Burrow down until at least after the bye and call this season a wash.
And that's my thing. It's like, if he is not able to go out there and you see it in games, he takes a snap, he's in a shotgun, and there is no mobility whatsoever. He is literally just standing there in the pocket, hoping that Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, somebody's open, and their offensive line is not good enough for that to happen. So he's just getting pounded. They're not generating enough offense. They're just not extending plays. Like guys like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, they can extend plays with their legs. When you don't have that mobility as a quarterback, it's tough.
Yeah, that calf injury in the preseason, in training camp, was a big setback for him, I think.
It was.
He talked about his mobility this week. He said he felt like he was getting a little bit more mobile, but you can just tell when you watch the game, the last 2 games, he just looks so stiff, like a statue in the pocket. And obviously, in today's NFL, you can't have that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I wanted them to shut him down, but I guess today Joe Burrow came out and said this is the best he's felt after a game all season so far. I mean, we're only in week 5, but so far this season. So we'll see. I don't know. I really don't know. We're going to talk about it in our fantasy segment. I have a point I'm going to bring up. So, regarding a fantasy, because that's the big thing is like he's not even startable in fantasy right now.
I think he's QB 30 or QB 28 or something.
Yeah, he's like a bottom 5 quarterback right now. So, yeah, Bengals are definitely in peril. I will say this. And even like watching last week's game, their defense, I think the whole team is just like their morale, their motivation is just gone. Like they don't have that fire in them. They don't have anything to build off of. I mean, the defense.
There's no juice.
Like you got ran over by Derrick Henry, Derrick Henry is still good, but he's not King Henry right now, I will say. That's just my personal take. He could be way better. But I think the Bengals not having that fire in their gut right now led to the success the Titans had.
Yeah.
I had Titans upsetting that was last week. I don't know what I'm saying. But we also had the Bengals winning. But they lost 27-3.
Yeah.
Only 3 touchdowns this season. Like it's tough. It's tough. So Bengals are definitely in peril. And then lastly, Chicago's big choke job versus Denver.
What an epic failure. What an epic what a beautiful dumpster fire of a game first and foremost. But what a disgusting output if you're a Chicago fan. At this point, the silver lining is, hey, you're projected to have the number 1 and number 2 overall picks next year, and let's keep it that way. If
I was Chicago right now, I'd get rid of Fields.
I would see what the trade market are. Yeah. He had a decent game. I mean, he couldn't finish. Obviously, they couldn't close. But what does the market look like for one Justin Fields right now?
I think the Giants would have to throw an offer out there, especially with how Daniel Jones
will be looking around. The Jets possibly. Yeah. You could even try to do some sort of swap, kind of akin to the Goff and some change for Matthew Stafford, and do a Justin Fields and Kyler Murray type trade. I don't know. I mean, it's time to either get creative or finish off the season.
Yep. That's exactly where I'm at with them.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, something's got to change.
Yeah.
Something's got to change. I mean, am I saying this is Justin Fields' fault completely? No. I think there's a lot going on in Chicago that is just, it's scary.
Well, we talked about it last week.
Yeah.
We talked about that crazy week that they had between week 3 and week 4. But, I mean, at that point, it's beyond like, hey, Eberflus is on the hottest hot seat you can have right now as a coach. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they lose this game if they can him. It's plain and simple.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night, there's going to be a lot on the line for Chicago. They're a desperate team right now.
All right. So one last thing I want to talk about, Panthers in the market for a wide receiver number 1. I mean, what's up with that? It's just the Panthers are another team similar to Chicago who I felt that have traded a lot of their assets and they're still bad.
Yep.
And it's like they want a wide receiver number 1. Well, buddy, you had your wide receiver number 1 last season, and DJ Moore. Now you don't have a first-round pick. You gave up a lot to trade up to get Bryce Young. Yeah, I don't know what's going on in Carolina.
Jerry
either.
Jeudy.
Jerry Jeudy.
Jerry Jeudy, you are now a Carolina Panther. Put him in the powder blue and black. I want to see it. I mean, that's my hot take. I think I'm pretty confident to see that Jerry Jeudy will be a Panther by the end of this season. Probably by the end of the month because the trade deadline is on Halloween. So, for all your treats and tricks and whatnot, give me Jerry Jeudy over in Carolina.
Yeah, I definitely. If I'm Carolina, I'm calling Denver. I'm making the call because another thing with Jerry Jeudy is he hasn't been anything this season at all either. It's just it sounds like Denver. He needs a new home and
Change
Denver.
scenery for sure.
Change the scenery and. It's just not really working out anymore with Denver. I mean, Marvin Mims is leading the team in receiving.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're trying to establish.
That's my guy.
That's your guy. They're trying to establish a run game. I mean, even Cortland Sutton is still there too. Cortland Sutton, it's when he's healthy, he's pretty solid. So I mean, it's just tough. I don't know. Yeah, if I'm Carolina, I'm calling Denver soon before week 8 because that's the trade deadline. So I think the price of the brick of Jerry Jeudy might go up from here, but we'll definitely see. Any other notable names you guys can think of? I mean, to trade for.
Number one targets wise, I mean, Mike Evans kind of sounds like a name that could work, but that's a divisional rival right there, so the cost would be way too much.
Yeah.
I don't think Carolina has a first round pick this year, so they can't obviously use that in trade talks, or even a guy maybe you go after T. Higgins. I don't know what it's going to cost, but it's going to cost at least a new deal for T by the end of the trade deadline. A lot could tell out of this week specifically. We're going to start to see a lot of answers regarding trades and what teams are ultimately looking like. Chicago loses, they're going to blow up ship. So they might be on a fire sale. Not saying that DJ Moore would go back to Carolina, but maybe they'll look to trade pieces away. But the same thing goes for Cincinnati, I think. If they lose this game, now it's time to start gearing towards 2024.
Yep.
So you already know you're not going to be able to pay T. Higgins. Let's send him off and get some trade compensation for him. Maybe a second-round pick and a new deal going over to Carolina. That's another option I can see. But other than that, it's really, the market's not great right now for a team that doesn't have a first-round pick looking to get a number one wide receiver.
I could see them trying to go to the Steelers and see what it'll cost for Deontay Johnson.
That's another name. That's another possibility, and it might not be as expensive as some people think. They're enthralled with George Pickens. He's going to be the future of that wide receiver room. Deontay Johnson isn't very old. I think he's 26, 27?
Yeah, he's not that old.
So he's kind of entering or in the middle of his prime. He's had some injury history, and that will probably bring down his trade value a little bit. But he's a guy that, when healthy, can produce.
Oh, yeah.
And he just gets open.
Oh, yeah. I don't think there's a time in a game where he is fully covered.
No.
For an entire drive. No. He's open probably, if you're giving them 12 plays in a drive, he's probably open 4 or 5.
Yeah, easy for that. Other than that, maybe kick the tires on I don't know.
It's hard.
I'm looking around and there's really not much.
Gabe Davis?
Kyle Pitts? Is Kyle Pitts an option at that point? But again, it's another divisional rival where it's you're going to be paying way too much money to get him over there.
Right.
Treylon Burks? I don't know the direction that Tennessee is going, but I don't know.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll definitely see. Let's head on to our 2-minute drill. Jordan.
Oh, I'm ready.
Jordan.
Hopping right into it, huh?
We're going to hop right into it. We're going to put you through the ringer. A bunch of questions. I'm not going to say how much, but it's going to range from anything and everything. So be ready.
All right.
I believe in you.
Anything and everything.
Everything and anything.
Oh, wow. Yeah, these are the questions. This is interesting. All right. All right.
Oh, yeah.
You want to go ahead? One quick rule change. I don't know if you remember from last year, but I'm not starting the clock until Mike finishes saying the first question.
Okay.
So you have a full 2 minutes starting with your first answer.
All right.
So you get all that, and then we'll see where you time out. Kesey was number one a couple weeks back at 38 seconds. Good old Casey had 44.65, and Joe Goodberry started to explain himself a little bit. So he knocked down the power rankings a little bit at 1:10. So Where do you think you're gonna rank right here, right now?
I don't know. I'm hoping to get. I'm sub 1. I'm hoping to get
Sub
sub 1.
one.
Sub 1. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Alrighty, Jordan, are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, go. Will Jacksonville have the power of London by their side for this upcoming matchup versus the Bills?
No, I think the Bills are too much for them. Just losing Trey White there kind of hurt the defense a little bit, but I think they step up.
Who should the Panthers trade for since they're in the market for a wide receiver 1?
I'm going to go back to the Deontay Johnson point. I think that would work out for Bryce Young and that young offense they got.
All right. Is Baker Mayfield a comeback player of the year candidate?
I'd say that he is, just because everybody counted him out. Nobody wanted to sign him last year, so that was like they all shipped him off. So I'd say that he is.
Should the Bears fire Eberflus if they lose this week?
Yes, I think you gotta just wash the year away. Forget about it.
All right. Do you believe in the New York Jets after almost beating Kansas City last Sunday night?
No, I think it was just the one game fluke that Kansas City plays every year.
Okay.
Is the Kelce-Swift relationship the most annoying topic in the world right now? Hey, I didn't write this, Swifties. I didn't write this one.
Yes, absolutely terrible.
Oh, that's a hot take.
That's a hot take.
Absolutely terrible.
And the last one, best country artist right now.
Right now, Luke Combs, without a
Luke
doubt.
Combs. All right. Where's that put him?
A minute 9.
A minute 9.
A minute
He
9.
beat out Joe Goodberry.
Sorry, Joe.
go.
Moving down 1.
My bad, Joe.
So yeah,
That's pretty good. There was a little bit of drama there. We gotta, you know what we should do now? In the coming weeks, we should get a timer to go on screen while they're going.
We should.
I'm doing some live creative meeting right here. We also got to figure out a way to fix that black. There's a black dot that comes out after our little intro. There it is. Right there. Every second, it just like appears and disappears. So, we're still working out the kinks of the new studio. To all of our video watchers
beautiful,
out
though.
there, it's a lot of fun. We changed up a little bit more again, if you guys can tell. Aside from the McCoy jersey, moved the TV around, had some fun with it. Give us some feedback. Let us know what you think. How's the lighting look? How do we sound? How do we look? Everything. Let us know.
So a minute 9.
A minute 9.
Yeah, you got Joe by 1 second.
By the skin of my teeth.
Barely.
There we are. So Jordan Parks, a minute 9. Joe Goodberry, 1:10. Jordan Parks is now number 3 on the leaderboard.
Also, I want to go back to the Kelce-Swift point.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like annoying to the point. I just think everybody's playing it out to where, like, I don't know if you guys have seen the TikToks or anything like that, where it's like, oh, Travis Kelce wasn't anything before he was with Taylor Swift.
Right, like he's been a
Like,
big deal.
He's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Right.
And that just drives me nuts.
I will say, that's definitely a joke. I that's gotta like it's like that's it's purposely played out to be like, oh yeah, like we put Travis Kelce on the map. Like Travis Kelce is one of the greatest in the sport of the NFL, but outside of NFL fans, like if you didn't know NFL, Travis Kelce wasn't a household name. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, you know, Travis Kelce, he's like a good-looking dude. So like some girls are probably like, oh, I know Travis Kelce because I like watching football, right?
Yeah.
Or yeah, you know, I don't know. But anyway, I don't know. I do think, I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. Where Travis Kelce's jersey sales spiked 400%. What else? He gained 800,000 followers on Instagram.
Right.
That's just like the Swiftie army all kind of
Yeah.
flocking to him. What else? His podcast, him and Jason Gill's
Erupted.
podcast erupted even more. It was already like one of the top sports podcasts, and now it's
Yep.
becoming one of the top podcasts. Period. So that is the Taylor Swift effect, and you now have the army of Swifties with the army of Kansas City Chief fans that are kind of Avenger assembling, and it's a lot.
It is a lot. But yeah, I put that in there because, I mean, I'm not going to lie, it has been a little annoying. I will say this. Like, the NFL changing their header on Twitter to just Taylor Swift
Yeah.
for like a split second was kind of crazy.
Hey, did you guys see Travis Kelce's new sleeper picture, by the way?
Yep, it's
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift.
I think that's pretty good. I guess I might be the minority here. I'm riding with it. I mean, hey, you know what? At the end of the day, The NFL's a business. It generates clicks.
Yep.
And what better way to generate clicks than talk about the most talked about topic in the United States right now?
Right. I get it. It's just, it's wonderful, great. I love
I love love.
love. Yes. Woo. But oh my God, it's just everywhere I turn, it's just But I mean, I get it. It's as somebody who is a content creator as well, I think this is gold.
I mean, if you look at our numbers in the last week, out of all the reels and TikToks that we posted, we talked about Taylor Swift and it had the most views.
Right.
So I don't blame the NFL one bit for riding this because they have probably gotten millions in just.
I understand the hustle, but as a fan, I'm just kind of all right, come on. But I don't know. I'm in the middle. For sure.
Do you guys think this dies out by the end of the year, or do you think it just keeps going?
It's a fad. I mean, it's not the relationship. I think that there's truth to the relationship, and I do kind of feel bad for them as a couple where.
They can't
to
live.
my understanding, Taylor Swift, yes, she makes the songs about her exes, but as a person, you don't want all of your business out there.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce was the same way. He's been trying to downplay it in the last couple weeks, but I don't know. I think give it a few weeks and kind of let the noise die down. And it's okay, they're a real thing. We could move on and let them be. I think you'll start to see that in the next few weeks.
Wait till we get married.
It'll be the same thing all over again.
We get married, have a couple kids. You got probably the greatest prodigy on planet Earth.
Oh, the children of
Can
Travis
sing
Kelce
and be an all-pro tight end. I mean, those are
pick your
pick your poison.
red pill or blue pill.
Red pill or blue pill. There's not a wrong way. You're making
voice
out
or generational athlete.
You're making out either way. So let's move on to our underdog pick 5. Do you guys want to get paid?
Let's get paid. Let's get paid. Let me get my get paid voice on.
Let's get paid.
We are proud to be partnering with Underdog Sports, our favorite place to play fantasy games. You got to just check out their pick'em. It's so easy to play. Just pick 2 to 5 stats of your favorite players and choose whether they'll go higher or lower than them. You can 20 times your money by going 5 for 5. Does that sound like fun? Download their app and sign up today using our code BIGYAC. That's BIGYAC.
Big Yak.
To get your first deposit of up to $100 matched. We cannot wait to see your entries.
Big Yak.
I think that was the smoothest we've ever bounced back and forth through that.
I usually am just
there.
You're talking. I'm Big Yak. Big Yak. I'm just being annoying over here. Nico's trying to explain. I'm Big Yak. Do you have a pick 5 ready?
I do have a pick 5 ready. So going off of everything, we have Justin Fields. He is part of their weekly special. He just needs 1 yard, 1 total yard. Actually higher than 0.5 total yards. So give me Justin Fields higher, 0.5 total yards.
All right.
Going on to the other side of Thursday Night Football, Sam Howell. Sam Howell has a really good rushing ability as a quarterback, and I think that's what's going to help him thrive as a quarterback in this season and seasons beyond. I like this prop at 13.5 rushing yards. I think he's going to slam that higher. I could see him easily getting probably 30 to 40 rushing yards this game, no problem. Moving on to the other side of the ocean, we have Trevor Lawrence, 246 passing yards. I'm going to take the lower there. I think even without Trey White out there, we're going to see a high floor player in Kyer Elam. I think that Kyer Elam being sat was more of a numbers game because he doesn't really play special teams. I think that they still have something in their 2022 for first round pick. So I think he's going to fit in. He won't obviously be what Trey White was right away, but this is a cohesive secondary, and I think they're going to give Trevor Lawrence trouble. Give me the lower for 246.5 passing yards for Trevor Lawrence. And Josh Allen on the flip side of the ocean. So I took this game here. Jacksonville plays Buffalo really tough. If you guys remember the last couple of times they faced, it's always been kind of giving them trouble. Josh Allen has been playing lights out, and I think he can continue to have a great game, but he's due for an interception. So I'm going to take higher than 0.5 interception. And then moving on to Lamar Jackson. Give me higher than 201.5 passing yards against Pittsburgh. I think they're going to go in and play lights out against the Steelers. So that's my pick 5 there. One more time, that's Justin Fields special, higher than 0.5 total yards. 13.5 rushing yards higher for Sam Howell. Trevor Lawrence, 246.5 passing yards lower. Josh Allen, 0.5 interceptions higher. Lamar Jackson, 201.5 passing yards higher.
All right. I have the Justin Fields special, as you mentioned. So, that's not really a lot to talk about. Terry McLaurin, though, I have him getting higher than 7 targets. They came out and said that his toe is now feeling better. It's up damn near full strength. So he had a great game last week, so I think he builds on top of it. Plus, they're playing Chicago. Chicago's not good. So I like Terry McLaurin's targets. And I mean, also like Jahan Dotson hasn't really been anything yet this season. He's the clear-cut number 1 in Washington. So give me the 7, higher than 7 targets. Najee Harris, lower than 48.5 rushing yards, going up against Baltimore. I know that doesn't sound good for your fantasy, but I'm just playing some money. Playing with some money right here. So Najee Harris, I'm just not a big fan. Lower than 48.5, I could see it happening. I think he hits 42 rushing yards. I think he is just short. Josh Allen, and this is going to be a little bit of surprise. I'm wearing a Buffalo Bills jersey as we speak, but I'm going to take the lower on his passing yards. His passing yards are set at 260.5.
That's high.
That's high, and we're in London. The power of London, So I don't think there's going to be a lot of fireworks in London. There usually isn't for London games. So 260 is a little high for me. I'm going to take the lower. Like last week against Miami, I'm slamming the higher because, it's Miami. Their defense hasn't been good. We're in Buffalo. He's out there slinging the rock in front of all those Bills fans. I'm taking the higher, but lower, I'm taking in London. And then Mac Jones, lower than 222.5 passing yards. They play New Orleans, who has a stout defense. Mac Jones is just not it. Not a big fan of Mac Jones. Sorry, Patriots fans. I mean, you guys would probably agree. I've seen a lot of Patriots Twitter fans pretty livid about him. So, 222 yards for an offense that is not good seems like a lot to do. And they're playing New Orleans, as I mentioned. So, underdog pick 5 right there. McLaurin targets higher. Najee lower on his yardage. DJ Moore higher on his receiving. Allen lower on passing. Mac Jones lower on passing. Jordan, how does that sound to you?
I like it.
Do you like both of ours?
I love them.
You love them?
Yeah, I'm gonna go home and put them in.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, let's make some money. Let's make some money. So make sure you guys put those in. If you go 5 for 5, that's 20 times your money, your payout. So
remember to use code BIGYAC. Big Yak.
Big Yak. Moving on, let's go on to our ticket to the bank segment. We're in week 5. Week 5 in bulk. A lot of surprises, a lot of not surprises, but Nico, let's go with you with your parlay of the week for tomorrow night's game.
Yeah, so I got one that's cooking. I mean, there's some parlays that I didn't post that I won. I was saving those in the bank. One day maybe we'll have a place where we can put all of our plays on a something for our subscribers.
Yep.
But we'll talk about that down the road. But every week I'm going to come to you with a play that I think is pretty realistic. And hey, let's be honest. This game is going to suck. No one's going to sit there and willfully watch this game tomorrow night. So what better way to willfully watch the game is than to put money on it? Am I right?
Put money on it.
That being said, FanDuel heard that and has a 50% profit boost for all of their parlays that go on to that. That's a max of $10 when you use that 50% parlay boost. So, you want to get a little bit of a come up here. So I kind of kept this one tame. Traditionally, the odds of this one would be at plus 403.
Yep.
But with the 50% parlay boost, it's at plus 604. I put $10 on it. So here I have the 5-leg parlay, but don't let the 5 legs scare you. Brian Robinson, anytime touchdown score. Commanders money line. I think I stayed away from that spread because I have a feeling that Chicago is going to keep it within a score. So I'm just going to say I think the Commanders are going to win this, and I think Chicago low-key wants the Commanders to win this so they can get rid of Eberflus and they can kind of blow up this season.
Blow it up.
So they might be desperate, but I would kind of look past that. The Commanders are clearly the better team here. They gave Josh Allen and the Bills offense some trouble. I mean, Josh Allen had his statistically worst game, or second to worst game against the Commanders so far this season. So I like the Commanders to win here. Just stay away from that spread. So like I said, I got Brian Robinson anytime touchdown. Commanders money line. Again with Brian Robinson, I'm telling him again with 40-plus rushing yards. That's an alternate. That's his over-under right now, I believe, is at like 56.5 or something like that. I'm playing it safe, doing 40 yards. DJ Moore, 40 receiving yards. That's also an alternate. I think his true player prop for that is like 70. Give me 40. Justin Fields, 25 yards rushing. He's only had one game where he was under the 25 yards rushing. So I like this a lot. $10 brings you back $70 if this all hits. So I like this as my Thursday Night Football parlay. Let's make this game actually exciting to watch and root for some money.
Yeah, like, please, let's make this interesting, guys. Like, it's, I feel like the Thursday night games in the past haven't, like, the last couple haven't been bad. Last week had a little bit of out of reach, but then Green Bay fought back. Yeah. So I will say this: I got really pissed after this parlay. I had Detroit money line. I had a Monra touchdown. I had Sam Laporta over 4.5 receptions, and then I had Monra yards as well. Everything hit except for this man, Sam Laporta, not having one reception. I was like, oh, this is a lock. What a bet I placed. Middle of the third quarter, I'm saying this in my head. Did not register another catch for the rest of the game. And I wanted to slam everything out. $10 bet. I was making 70 back. I mean, good return. I wanted to cry. So
that game, the parlay of the week that I gave on the show last week had 3 of 4 legs hit. The only one that was missing was the Jared Goff over 1.5 passing touchdowns. But I was a little sneaky, and I played another parlay, and that one hit. That one was Amon-Ra under 72.5 receiving, Jared Goff under 249 yards passing, and Amon-Ra anytime touchdown score. $5 turned into $50 there. So that was a nice little come up for me. Then on Sunday, I had another one. Sunday was I think I sent this one to you.
Yep.
This one was another one. I had a $5 like no sweat bet or whatever. And so I was like, let me just make like a wild parlay, because that same game, I put $50 on the Chiefs covering. Patrick Mahomes stopped right in front of the end zone and iced the game out.
Yep.
So Patrick Mahomes, if you ever see this, you owe me $50.
I owe you $50.
But I made it back because I bet against you, Patrick Mahomes. So thank you for also getting the under on everything. I put $5 down, got $90 back, a little come up just like that. Chiefs money line. Patrick Mahomes under 2.5 passing touchdowns. Travis Kelce under 71.5 receiving yards. Rashee Rice over 25 receiving yards. Garrett Wilson over 4.5 receptions. And Patrick Mahomes under 71.5 passing yards. That hit. That got me my money back from losing to Patrick Mahomes. Again, you can give me $50 or an autograph or something, whatever. It's something we can put on the set. I don't care. But if I ever see you, Patrick Mahomes, you'll get a stern talking to.
All right. So FanDuel does not have a lot of the games other than Thursday player props available, but they do have Thursday. So I have for one of my parlays, I have a player from tomorrow night's game. We talked about it in the underdog pick 5. Terry McLaurin, 50+ receiving yards. I think he hits that. Again, last week, big game facing Chicago. Same reasons why I'm doing it with Chicago or the underdog pick 5. And I had targets for McLaurin. I mean, if he's getting 7 targets, I hope to God he makes 50 yards on those 7 targets, and he catches all 7 of them. So give me Terry McLaurin over 50 yards. Give me Houston money line. They are underdogs to Atlanta. And I am not a big fan of the Falcons. Houston, in my mind, has been amazing so far. C.J. Stroud, Tank Dell, they've all been great. Give me Houston money line. And then Jacksonville at Buffalo. Over-under is set at 48.5. Give me the under.
Alrighty.
Give me the under. We're in London, as I said. It's not going to be a lot of fireworks.
48.5 is high. I totally read this being like a 24-17 type game.
Right.
There's not going to be like the fireworks that we saw the last few weeks out of the Bills. Like I said, it's going to be a kind of a slugfest, I think. And if the Bills do squeak away with the win, I'm not touching the spread or the money line here, but I do like the under in this situation.
Yeah. Now, who do you guys pick to win?
Give me Bills money line.
Yeah.
Bills money line?
If I'm gonna take anything in that game, it's Bills money line. It's the only thing that seems comfortable.
You think the Bills win?
Yeah.
I think they win. See what I did there? Yeah, no, I like they're riding hot right now. I don't think they put up a big game like they did against Miami.
Bills look like a freaking juggernaut right now. I mean, let's be honest. It doesn't matter that they're off to London. I saw the stats or whatever. There was a study did that that traveling from west to east, there's like a 16% like loss ratio. I all these numbers don't make sense to me. The Bills are a better team. You could play in frickin' Buffalo. You could play in Jacksonville. You could play in Los Angeles.
Japan.
You could play in England. You could play in Tokyo. You could play in Sydney. You could play in Africa.
Mars.
You could play on the moon, and the Bills are the better team. Give me Buffalo to win this, and that's the only thing that I am touching other than the under.
Another game I want to point out to you guys, another big one. Dallas and San Francisco. What do you guys think about that game? Who do you think comes out on top on that game?
I hate betting this game because these are two of the best teams in the NFC, among the best teams in the NFC. And San Francisco being 3.5-point favorites is quite steep, but Dallas folded to Arizona.
Yes.
So that is the one knock I'll give them. Other than that, they have been blowing out teams. My fear with Dallas is that they're not really facing adversity. The only time they faced adversity was when they played against Arizona and they lost. San Francisco, on the other hand, has been also dominating teams.
4-0.
But I trust their ability under pressure over the Cowboys' ability under pressure. So that being said, when these two teams collide, I'm going to take San Francisco to win this. I don't feel comfortable taking the spread at all. I would take just San Francisco money line here and count my losses.
I think it's going to be a super high-scoring game.
Yeah?
Back and forth. Maybe minimal defense played. I'm just going to take the over.
Okay.
Orders set at 45.
Yeah. I think both of them, it's probably going to be a 37-32 game.
Something like that. Yeah, something crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely going to duel.
Shootout.
It's either going to be that or it's going to be 17-10.
Yeah. There's no in between.
Yeah, I just don't think a lot of defense is going to be played. I think there's going to be some, like one of these teams is probably going to have like a defensive touchdown. I could see. But we're playing in San Francisco as well, so I'm going Niners. And also, they have just been the most complete, the most complete team in the NFC for sure, maybe even the NFL. I mean, they're undefeated. So, give me San Francisco. I don't know why. 3.5-point favorites. I mean, that sounds about right though.
Yeah, I mean, Brock Purdy still hasn't lost a regular season game yet.
He hasn't.
No.
So
all he does is win.
Yeah,
he's a winner. He's a winner. Even Jerry Jones, the owner of the Cowboys, said that they look like the clear favorite for the Super Bowl right now, but they have to go through his Dallas Cowboys.
Yep,
that's right.
And all media outlets are trimming that clip and just putting that. Oh, the Niners are the clear favorites. Like, you got to play the whole clip, man. But yeah, that parlay, if you put $10 down, you win $51. So it's plus 510 odds. So
you already gave your upset this week in Texans, and that was also going to be my upset in Texans.
Yeah,
but that being said, there's another upset that I like, and we're sticking in the AFC South. The Colts are 1.5-point underdogs at home against Tennessee. I'm taking Indianapolis to win outright here. I'm taking the plus 106 odds.
I dig that a lot. Anthony Richardson's been playing lights out there on the road. Tennessee, I'm not completely sold on.
No.
They beat up on a Cincinnati team that just doesn't know what's going on right now.
They're hobbled.
So, and that's another team that I might have an upset for. Bengals at Cardinals. I think, Cardinals are 3-point underdogs. I think they can upset Cincinnati on Sunday.
If that's the case, then you got to shut down Joe Burrow.
Yeah, if you lose to Arizona and Joe Burrow goes out there and has another performance where it doesn't throw a touchdown, he has like 110 passing yards, you got to shut him down.
Yep.
Because, you shut him down for 4 games. He comes back, week 9, week 10. You still have another, 7-8 games to play, and you just run the table. I mean, Yeah. Do you agree, Jordan?
I do. If they lose to Arizona and Josh Dobbs, which Josh Dobbs played well against Dallas last week, it wasn't like his best performance, but I still think he played pretty well. So I would say, yeah, if they lose to Arizona, and just shut Burrow down.
Yeah, I completely agree. So that was Take It to the Bank.
Before we switch off, I do want to say one thing. Give our X a follow. We post a lot of our plays that we do and that we like over on that page. And I just want to say the thread that we had for last week, every prop on that thread hit. If you played every single one of these props, you would have won money. You would have
money.
You would have won all money. All 3 hit. We had 3 props that we really liked for week 4. All 3 of them hit. That was Miami and Buffalo over at -112. That was Trevor Lawrence under 234 passing yards, -114. And that was Stephon Diggs over 80.5 receiving yards. I think at that time it was -110. But all 3 of those hit, and we celebrated for that. So hopefully you guys make some money with us, because we're not saying that just to say that. Every single week, if you have played all of the plays that we've given, you'll have been in the positives. So
we have a winning record right now.
We're doing the research right now. We're putting out what we can, and it's all for free. You just got to take the time to listen.
Hell yeah.
Check out the Big Yak Podcast if you want to make some money. That's all I'm going to say.
Please help us help you.
Help us help you. That's right.
Help us help you. I also want to give a shout out to the new 40 subscribers that we earned last night on YouTube. So we're at the 200 mark. Finally, I don't even know if I want to say finally. We've been busting our arses.
In terms of British, mate. Boosting our horses.
Boosting our horses. So I just want to say thank you everybody who has subscribed and has helped us on our journey so far. Not to get too sappy, we're gonna finish up here. Fantasy football and quarterback tiers. We're going to go with our fantasy football segment. Nico, do you have any start, sits, and sleepers for this week?
You kind of alluded to it earlier this week. Some people have been kind of hesitant on Terry McLaurin. He's a full start for me now. Now moving forward, you can put him back in your lineups and be pretty confident with him. I also like Gabe Davis this week. I feel like whenever there's a bigger game, and this is kind of a bigger game, when there's a national spotlight on him, Tony Romo dubs him Big Play Gabe. I think he's good for a touchdown this week.
Yep.
So Gabe Davis is a start for me in your flex. And that's where you kind of drafted him this year. I mean, he was like an ADP of the 8th, 9th, 10th round. And he's a comfortable flex for me this week. Also, moving forward, Josh Downs out of Indianapolis. He has been finding rhythm. He's been catching a lot of balls. He's had a lot of receptions and a lot of targets his way. So he looks to be every part of a PPR machine. I love all those starts there, as I do with Jaden Reed if Luke Musgrave is not good to go this Sunday. I think that Jaden Reed is the biggest beneficiary of that. So Jaden Reed I like a lot here. And one last one is if you were benching Breece Hall over the last few weeks, I don't blame you. Put him back in your lineups. Robert Saleh said that he's a full go now. There's no longer snap counting him. So Breece Hall is a full go for me. Put him back in your lineups as you drafted him to be. I think he's good for 50-plus yards and a touchdown today or this week.
All right, Jordan, do you have any starts off the top of your head?
I do. Personally, I'm starting James Cook.
Yep.
I think the Bills are gonna try and pound the ball. So I'm starting James Cook. Another start that's a little bit out there.
Okay.
But I am starting Jonathan Taylor if he is in the lineup.
He practiced in full today, so I mean it's looking like he is a go for Sunday.
I am starting JT off the rip if he's good to go.
Oh, you have to. You have to with his talent.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yep.
Yeah. Any other ones?
No, that's it. That's all I got.
All right. So for my starts, I agree with the Breece Hall take. Breece Hall, they said that he is off of his snap count now. Dalvin Cook has not looked good so far. So Breece Hall, he's been wanting to, get the weight lifted off his shoulders. Unleash Breece Hall. Unleash Breece Hall. He's been waiting to
Free Breece.
Free Breece. He's been waiting to be unleashed. I think going forward, he's going to be startable. He's probably like in the RB2, RB3 range still, but again, if he's on your bench, you've been salty with him, I think it's time to bring him back out. Give me Marquise Brown, actually. Marquise Brown is a little bit of a surprise. He is with Josh Dobbs in the Arizona offense. I know they're not the sexiest team, but Marquise Brown has been fantasy relevant. If you need wide receiver help, you need a flex play. Marquise Brown, and they're playing Cincinnati, who's been getting gashed. Very favorable matchups. Josh Dobbs has been playing out of his mind. For a guy who is only rostered in like 10% of leagues. So, again, give me Marquise Brown. There's another receiver coming up, too, that I'm going to point out. But lastly, for my starts, give me Jordan Love. Jordan Love versus the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders secondary has been bad. Almost every matchup they faced, they've been gashed. With Green Bay, you mentioned Jaden Reed. Romeo Dobbs has been great. Christian Watson is now back in the fold. They're probably not going to have Luke Musgrave, but I mean, just having those three receivers right now are going to help them out a lot. So give me Jordan Love. So that's my starts. Do you guys have any sits?
Joe Burrow.
I'm
sitting Joe Burrow. And if you have Joe Burrow, I pray that you grab CJ Stroud on the waiver wire. He is probably not available anymore because he is. I'm kind of spoiling to my QB tiers, but he's at least a top 10 quarterback right now. So That being said, start him, and sit Joe Burrow. If I'm looking at Cooper Kupp, if you can afford it, I'm maybe sitting him.
It's understandable.
Just to see where he's at. I mean, Puka Nacua has been playing lights out. So if I don't know if they put him on a snap count, you might only see 5-6 targets thrown his way. He might have a really modest game, and so if you've made it this far, if you're 2-2 at this point, 3-1, and you have Cooper Kupp kind of just waiting in IR, ride it out for one more game, sit him.
Right. Any other sits? Jordan? Anybody else?
Mac Jones, the obvious one.
Okay.
That I'm not sold on.
I'm
Mac
dropping
Jones.
him.
Yeah.
He's not on the roster.
Yeah. Another sit him. I'm going to sit Derrick Henry.
Ooh.
Okay.
That's a hot take. All right.
Like you said, that Cincinnati defense, they just don't have it together. I don't think he's what he used to be the 3 years ago, where he was getting 30 carries a game and just going for 210. I don't think he's got that anymore when the lights come on.
Tyjae Spears has been playing more and more snaps as the week goes on.
That's what I was talking about earlier. It's just more of like, I think he had that game last week because it was Cincinnati, but I think he got shut down by Cleveland. Only had 2 fantasy points. I mean, and then other than that, he's I think maybe hit his projection the first 2 weeks if we're talking fantasy, but.
Yeah.
I got a take for you. At this point, this guy is droppable. Kyle Pitts.
You
can drop him, and it sucks because his ADP was so high, so you drafted him to be your tight end for the year. But 10-team leagues, 12-team leagues, you can drop him. There's better on the market right now. Honestly, Jonnu Smith, you could pick up for Kyle Pitts because they like him better in Atlanta.
Yeah, I agree.
So rest in peace. One of the first ADP fatalities.
One of them. I mean, I feel the same way with David Njoku. I drafted him in the 8th round, and he has been like tight end 30.
Yep.
So, I mean, pain. Sleepers. I have 3 sleepers. Starting at quarterback, I have Sam Howell. Sam Howell is a sleeper. I mean, he's rostered in, I think, roughly like 30% of leagues.
Play him on a Thursday Night Football?
I would play him on a Thursday Night Football. They're playing the Bears. If they were playing like Philadelphia, God, no. But they're playing the Bears. It's a plus matchup. Yep. If you need quarterback, say you
got Joe Burrow.
You have Joe Burrow. You're bitten by that bug, and you need another guy. You need a backup quarterback to play. I mean, Sam Howell is a guy you could plug in. If I'm in a 10-man, probably not looking Sam Howell's way. But if I'm in a 12-man, by all means, I think he could be a start this week for sure. Again, that's why he's a sleeper. Could be good, could be bad. So he wasn't in my starts. For running back, and this is another Thursday night game, this might be a little shocking, but I have Khalil Herbert.
That's okay.
Khalil Herbert, I just think the Roshan Johnson show isn't quite there yet. Last week, Khalil Herbert, I know it was Denver, but he showed some promise. I think he's still the number 1 back in that offense right now. So Washington's defense has been wishy-washy. They've been apparent, but then they've also been bad. So, again, running backs are a wasteland right now. You know, you could have a guy go for 30 points and then he becomes RB15.
Yep.
So, Khalil Herbert, if you really need the help, then start him. Why not? Again, this is why we're sleepers. So then wide receiver, I have another Arizona Cardinal. I have the rookie, Michael Wilson. Michael Wilson each week has his targets have been increasing. His point totals in fantasy have been increasing, coming off a 26 game against, the San Francisco 49ers. Like, it's give me Michael Wilson. I mean, he was one of the top waiver ads. We posted the TikTok yesterday.
And he blew up 7 catches, 76 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, and if you look from week to week, his workload and his fantasy output has just been increasing and
Each
increasing and increasing. Went from 3.9 to 8.6 to 10.6 to 26.6.
Yeah. It's the numbers are there. So again, I said in my start Marquise Brown, but I mean, again, if you're in a deeper league and you need a flex play, Michael Wilson for sure. I know his projection right now is a little low, but again, they're playing Cincinnati. I think Josh Dobbs is gonna have a career day.
In this same point, I want to just make sure that all of you just check your waiver wires right now. Check your free agency markets. Make sure that Jameson Williams isn't just sitting there.
Right.
He is returnable this week. Yep. He's coming back. The NFL changed their gambling policy, and he was part of the group that was lifted from their suspensions. So he's cleared to play. He's off the PUP list. He's physically ready to perform, and now he can actually go play. Just double check to make sure that Jameson Williams isn't just floating out on free agency right now. And I wouldn't play him just yet, even though that this Carolina matchup does look enticing. Just play him or just grab him and hold him if he's still available.
Agreed. I just want to point out I made a couple trades in the fantasy league. With Joe Burrow, he's been my quarterback, so I went out and I traded Deebo Samuel for Michael Pittman and C.J. Stroud. Mm-hmm. I think that was a pretty good trade. I mean, Deebo,
that's a good pick.
I think this might be a cold take, hot take, whatever kind of take you want to take it as. But I think it's a take. Deebo Samuel, I think, is becoming the number 2 in San Francisco. I think Brandon Ayuk is starting to take the wide receiver 1 reins. He's been great. So with Deebo Samuel, again, that's a league where I have as my receivers, I have Kupp, I have Devontae Smith, and I have Devontae Adams. And so, again, I could afford to, expand him. And then Michael Pittman is been top 10, and I think he's like right on the border of top 10 targets in the NFL. He's been the top target getter in Indianapolis. It's not even close with the rest of the team. They'll throw a touchdown to a random tight end who was a plumber last week. So, I mean, go get. I went and got Michael Pittman, and then C.J. Stroud. Again, he's quarterback 10, I think, or quarterback 11. He has been great. So I went and got those 2 guys, and then so again, Nico made a good point. Pick up C.J. Stroud if he's available because he has been great. Yep. He has been great. And then Houston also has a great matchup this week versus Tennessee. So plug him in. I'm starting him over Joe Burrow and Matt Stafford in the league. So we're going to go on to the nitty-gritty. This one is going to be funny. 2 weeks ago, Nico unveiled his quarterback tier list. Last week, I unveiled mine. This week, we're both going at it. We're both going to display ours. This is coming off the week 4, heading into the week 5 quarterback tier list.
For this segment. This is a fun segment.
We're gonna end this with the show with a bang. So, Nico, do you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
I got it. I got it up and running.
All right.
So, I listened to everybody. I got a lot of hate on my tier list on TikTok specifically. People were coming at me. They said I don't know ball, the worst take they've ever seen, 50% great, 50% the worst garbage they've ever seen. I heard it all. I was like borderline getting threats with my with my tier list the last
We're coming to your house.
So that being said, I heard you guys. I've made some adjustments. We have a little bit more game tape available since my last tier list. So here it is, unveiling this week's iteration of who are the hottest quarterbacks right now. Bada bing, bada boom. At unranked, I have Jimmy Garoppolo, and for the first time entry, Kyler Murray. He's technically able to return off the physically unable to perform list whenever. They haven't activated him yet, but he is technically able to play. So he's floating there in the unranked. Jimmy Garoppolo, he's been hurt, so I've not included him in the rankings. Moving on, where Nico was wrong. These are guys that I was really high on, that I said were showing promise, that looked really good, but turns out to be poopy caca.
Poopy caca.
So I got Desmond Ridder, Kenny Pickett, Daniel Jones, Mac Jones, Bryce Young, and Jordan Love all in where Nico was wrong, and they're at the bottom of the barrel here. Moving on, I have also where Nico was wrong. These guys I was really low on, and now, okay, they've proved me a little wrong, and these were guys that actually people were coming at me with this take that I had. So I heard you. I can hear you. I see you. And the team has spoken back. So Zach Wilson, Ryan Tannehill, Russell Wilson, you're a step above the bottom of the barrel. You guys got it.
All right.
Moving on. Similar vibes. I can't describe it. I can't give you an exact placement of all these guys, and I can't explain why, but they're all the same quarterback.
Kirk Cousins variants?
Not Kirk Cousins, just Derek Carr, Justin Fields, Deshaun Watson. They've all been playing at similar vibes, like not fun to watch, but not like terrible enough to where you can move on from them. They're just meh. Moving on. One tier up. Tank for Marv. That's Joe Burrow, baby.
Joe Burrow.
Shut him down. The alternate title for this one is Shut Him Down. But Tank for Marv, I think, was more appropriate because he needs another wide receiver outside of Jamar Chase because T. Higgins, you can kiss him goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Moving on to making their teams watchable. Give me Geno Smith, Joshua Dobbs, Baker Mayfield, Sam Howell. These are all guys you wouldn't expect before the year started that are making their teams watchable. Maybe Geno Smith, I'll give you guys that. Geno Smith, yeah, okay, he's kind of fun to watch. They wrote him off. He ain't right back, though. So, that being said, give me Geno Smith, Joshua Dobbs, Baker Mayfield, Sam Howell, all in making their teams watchable. I go on and I want to watch these games. These are the guys I'm looking to watch. Sorry, Scary Terry, I'm watching Sam Howell more than you.
Hey.
Brian Robinson, I'm a big fan, but Sam Howell's got the juice right now.
Okay.
Moving on to big boost incoming. Matt Stafford's getting back Cooper Kupp. Anthony Richardson's potentially getting back Jonathan Taylor. Jared Goff is getting back Jameson Williams. These are guys that are all playing good right now, and they're getting a big boost on the way. Enough said. Moving forward to elite game managers right here. This was a reiteration of doesn't need to be anything special. But these are all kind of the same guys. Dak Prescott, Kirk Cousins, Brock Purdy. They're elite game managers. They're not going to lose you any games, but they're not like overwhelming talent. Like they're not these next guys.
Right.
That being said, you guys are probably wondering, Nico, where's CJ Stroud? Well, here he is. He's a top 8 quarterback in the league for me right now. He is playing lights out.
Lights out.
He should have been first overall. So that is the name of that tier. Should have been first overall. Carolina,
overall.
You might have been 3-1 by now if you grab CJ Stroud.
At least have a win.
Bingo. Houston looked like a dumpster fire going into the season, and they're actually respectable because of CJ Stroud.
They're in the hunt towards a wild card spot as right now.
CJ Stroud right now is the best quarterback, statistically, objectively, the best quarterback on third down right now in the entire league.
Has not thrown a pick yet.
Here we go. And hasn't thrown a pick at all.
Wow.
So I was watching some film. I was also watching some Brett Coleman. So shout out to Brett Coleman. He pulled these stats. But right here on third down, CJ Stroud's passer rating is 126.7. That ranks first in the league. First downs converted at 22. First in the league. Adjusted completion percentage, which factors in drops by wide receivers, 88.9% on third down. That's first in the league. 456 yards on third down. That's first in the league. Yards per attempt at 9.5. That's third in the league. And third down touchdowns, 3. That's also first in the league. And like you said, no picks at all thrown throughout the whole thing. CJ Stroud is playing like a top 8 quarterback in the league. I would take CJ Stroud over any one of the quarterbacks that I've already said. And maybe even you can make the argument for the tier above him as well. Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, simply elite. They're in that tier. And then lastly, finally looks human. That's Tua and Patrick Mahomes. Both teams actually look beatable. Both quarterbacks look beatable. Tua, Mahomes, they're in the same tier. But right now, very top of the list, top of the mountain, I got Mewtwo himself, Josh Allen.
Mewtwo.
Absolute alien. He's at number 1. He's playing since that loss to the Jets. That kicked him in the ass. And since then, he has been on fire. #1 quarterback in the league through these last 3 weeks. That is my tier list. It will get shredded up and blown to pieces on TikTok, but I don't care. I'm ready for it. I'm ready to fight to the death for this one.
Fight to the death. Let's get this.
Oh boy.
I got some fire with
It's
this
got some
one.
heat coming.
I got some heat. Do you have it ready?
I got
Here we
her.
go.
Oh.
Here we go. Here we go, man. Here we go. I'm excited
All
for
right.
this. This is gonna be funny.
Oh,
This is gonna
boy.
be hilarious.
All right, we're up and running.
All right, Joey. All right.
Criminals.
Criminals. Criminals. I got 2 people. I got Daniel.
That's pretty good.
I got Daniel Jones and I got Deshaun Watson. One is for actually being a criminal. The other
Daniel
one,
Jones.
and the other one is for robbing the New York Giants for every penny that they have because he has been not the quarterback that they signed that contract to at all. So he is wanted for theft. He's wanted for theft.
Yeah,
So-
he's taking Brian Daboll's job away from him too. So you can put that to the list
Yeah.
of thefts.
And you got to put on another iPad too because they broke an iPad, I guess. So Deshaun Watson is as well criminal. You know what he did. Not gonna sugarcoat it. Stinky with a couple Y's. This is Pupu Kaka from last week. Almost the same thing. I got Zach Wilson, Jimmy Garoppolo, Justin Fields, Derek Carr, Ryan Tannehill. I don't really care if Zach Wilson made the game close. Jordan said it. I mean, it was one of those games that it was kind of like a fluke. It's not going to happen on a week-to-week basis. So Jimmy Garoppolo, I know he was hurt last week, but even before he got hurt, I'm just not impressed. Justin Fields, great game. But that Denver defense allowed 70 points 2 weeks ago. So, I mean, he's still stinky to me.
Just a little bit of stench in the
Still
air.
stench. Derek Carr should not have played. Played with an AC sprain, threw like 140 yards and a lot. I don't know why. Alvin Kamara had 13 catches for 30 yards. Like, weird stat line. And then Ryan Tannehill, he's just Ryan Tannehill. I mean,
He deserves his own category, to be honest, but I would get more hate from
he
taking him otherwise.
Yeah.
he's still stinky. He didn't do anything in that route of the Bengals. That was a lot of Derrick Henry. And again, that was the Bengals defense who allowed all that to happen. So Ryan Tannehill had like a touchdown to like a Nick Westbrook-Akine. That's about it. It's not impressed. He could have had way more on that Cincinnati. Stinky. So young but not balling. So this is the one I had from last week. Mac Jones. Shown a couple flashes to start the year, but last 2 weeks I have not been impressed. Got benched. I mean, also he hasn't had the greatest of matchups, but that being said, he's not balling. Kenny Pickett as well, not been balling. I don't know what it is.
Sam Howell. He's a young baller. I think so.
I don't know.
I like to add an amendment, an addendum to
Addendum?
your to your tier list. Move
I
Sam Howell up at least to I don't really know. I think Sam Howell has been playing better than Joe Burrow right now,
true.
and Russell Wilson.
True. Oh,
I will say it
Yep.
right now.
I'm with
Sam
you.
Howell's
I'm
been
with
playing
you.
better than Russell Wilson.
I don't know, man.
Let's
I don't know.
Your take.
I don't know. I don't know if I put him over Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson has not been playing bad. He's the reason why Denver is in some of the games that they've been. Mr. Limited. I'm not really not trying to defend Russell Wilson right now. I hate that I have to do this, but I put him
Listen,
over Sam.
All I'm saying is Sam Howell does not deserve to be in the same tier as Desmond Ridder and Bryce Young.
No, not at all.
All right.
Let TikTok decide.
TikTok will decide. That's just my take. I'm just not overly impressed with Sam Howell.
All right.
I just will say this.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow night.
I just didn't know. I
See you tomorrow night.
really did not know where to put him. I don't want to put him in young ballers because
You got a tier named I don't really know.
I don't. You got a point, but that's all right. Okay, you guys made your point. Okay, I understand that. All right, moving on. Desmond Ridder, young but not balling. I might even put him in the stinky.
He's pretty stinky.
He's pretty stinky, so I might put him there. Bryce Young hasn't been that bad. He's just not good. So
Desmond Ridder, just going back real quick, you could argue that you put him in criminals too because he is taking money away from Kyle Pitts as we speak.
Yes, and Drake London and everybody else.
And taking a year away from fans of Atlanta.
Taking years of their life off. So I really don't know. That's the next tier. Joe Burrow had like week 2. I was like, oh, he had 20 points fantasy. Won the game. All right, he's back. No, last 2 weeks have been bad. And then he comes, as I said, you guys didn't catch that, but anyways, they posted this video of him jogging around the practice field today. Is he healthy? Is he not? I don't know. I really don't know what's going on with him. So that's why I don't really know. But right now, he has just not been doing good. Hopefully he has a bounce back week this week, but for my fantasy sake, so I can start him soon. But yeah. Russell Wilson, it's like he's been playing good, but it's like it's in the middle. I mean, I think it's more of like Denver's defense has just been really, really bad. So again, Russell Wilson will have like a horrible first half, and then second half just like throw for like almost 300 yards. So it's just kind of like I don't really know. I don't really know.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Next, I had to give him his own tier. Big Dick Baker. We don't really like to, be that profane on the show, but Big Dick Baker.
Baker deserves it.
Yeah.
Baker deserves it. He's led the Tampa Bay to a 3-1 record. He is like quarterback 12 right now in fantasy. Like he's been pretty good. He had that.
Ballin'.
Baker ballin'. Yeah, he had that kind of like an offish week against Philadelphia last week, but he turned it back up this
Philadelphia
week.
too.
Yeah.
Philadelphia has a great defense. Big Dick Baker. He's on a bye week, or else I would say go get him and start him. I mean,
Grab him now.
Grab him now. I could grab him now. I could stash him.
0 points.
Right. Moving on to young ballers. I have Jordan Love. I have Anthony Richardson. I have C.J. Stroud. I think all 3 of them have been great.
I had an addendum there.
What's the addendum? Is it Jordan Love?
It's swap out Jordan Love and Sam Howell.
I can't do that.
Oh.
I can't do that. I can understand putting Sam Howell like in the I really don't know, but I can't swap that out. I can't. I like Jordan Love.
What has Jordan Love done to deserve getting into young ballers other than having a sick ass last name?
He's feeling the love. I mean, here's the thing. He's been pretty good. I mean, he brought Green Bay back last week after they were getting pounded by Detroit. I mean, he puts Green Bay in the game.
Was it Jordan Love though, or was it the rest of the team?
I think it's Jordan Love. Wait, why are you shaking your head, Jordan?
I don't know.
Jordan, quarterback.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, I just don't think Jordan Love is what we think he is yet. He has a lot to develop.
That's a good.
He's
place
not.
to put it.
Yeah.
He's not the Aaron Rodgers magnitude
No,
that
but
he's
I
trying
think-
to live up to.
I think he is on the same tier as probably Joe Burrow and Russell Wilson right now.
You don't really know.
Don't really know because you got to figure the Saints. He came back against the Saints.
That was great.
Great, but his first half was so sloppy. He didn't know where he was. Your first game in Lambeau, you have to go out there and put it on performance, which he did in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to come out strong. That's just where I am with him.
All right, fair take.
I mean, he is lowest in the league right now in completion percentage, 56.1%.
Hey, man.
I don't know.
I mean, also, so is Anthony Richardson. So this category can be named lowest completion percentage in the league minus C.J. Stroud.
Right. C.J. Stroud's been pretty accurate, but yeah, Anthony Richardson has been a little inaccurate, but he's been great. I'm keeping it right now. I can understand the same Howell argument, but just not swapping them out.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
All right,
that's
I hear you.
Great, but could be better. Trevor Lawrence, Dak Prescott, Geno, Jared Goff, Kirk Cousins, Matt Stafford. Trevor Lawrence hasn't been abysmal. He has been decent. But I think he could be better. He could be a lot better. I liked what I saw last year from him. I just don't really know what it is with them. It's more of like I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's better than a lot of the guys that are below him in the tier wise. But I do think he picks it up. That being said, Dak Prescott, It's more of like their offense they're running right now. Like I don't really like know what they're trying to do, but
He
like
doesn't have to do much in this offense.
No.
yeah, it's not like in years past like Kellen Moore where he's like a gunslinger.
Yeah.
Now he's kind of like reverting into this more of like a balanced like he's
This is just the Kirk Cousins tier.
the Kirk Cousins tier. It might be. It might as well be.
Can I be honest?
What?
I think I would place CJ Stroud above every one of these players in this tier.
I
True.
have to agree. I gotta agree.
True. It's just he's been great so far. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. CJ Stroud has been balling for sure, but these guys, a lot of these guys have household names in the in their respective careers in respective teams. So I mean,
the household stats.
they will be.
Okay.
They will be. That's why they're great. They're great quarterbacks career wise, but could be better.
All right.
So
I hear you.
Geno Smith, again with Dallas and Seattle, I think they're running the ball a lot more than we expected them to. So again, not really having to do too much. Jared Goff, another team where Darren Montgomery is having career totals and touches and yardage. I mean, not having to do that much. I mean, also Amon-Ra has been dealing with an injury, under the books a little bit. So I mean, lack of production a little bit there. He didn't hit the 2 touchdowns, the 1.5. I mean, come on.
That was the only leg. Come on, Jared.
Come on, Jared. Kirk
Jared owes me
Cousins.
$50 too now.
Yeah. Kirk Cousins statistically has been great until you get to his turnovers. The
Yep.
turnovers have been bad. If you cut those turnovers by a good margin, I think he could be on the cusp tier. That's the next one. And then Matt Stafford, great quarterback. Again,
This is like a legacy pick, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because like you know the talent that's there.
yeah,
But is it Matt Stafford or is it Puka Nacua?
true. But then he's getting Cooper Kupp coming up. So, I mean, I think
Yeah.
it's going to, he's going to get a little bit more better. And he hasn't been bad at all by any means, but I do think it's more of like a systematic thing with like the Puka Nacuas and the Cooper Kupps and the, so he's in that tier. And then on the cusp, last week it was like the 5 to 10 range, I think I named it, but this is on the cusp. Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert, Brock Purdy, Lamar Jackson. Brock Purdy has not lost a game, as we mentioned. So I want to put him with the young ballers, but I think he's playing like an NFL. He's been in the NFL for a long time.
Yeah, he plays like a veteran.
Plays like a veteran.
He puts his throws where they need to be. Like as simply put, like he just looks good. You can't really find a flaw. Kyle Brandt called him a robot, and I'm like starting to like believe it.
He's a good robot. He's not Justin
looks-
Fields robot.
He looks like this is what AI would generate as a quarterback.
Brock Purdy. The Lamar Jackson, when he's healthy and he has some weapons that are also healthy, he's a great dual threat
I
quarterback.
feel like the Lamar Jackson and the Ravens in general, you haven't really heard his name and the name of you haven't heard the Ravens much this season yet.
Mhm.
But they're quietly 3-1 and in the running to be number 1 seed. They're in the
Right.
running.
They're
to
number
be,
2 seed right
Super
now.
Bowl contender, I think. And that is spearheaded by Lamar Jackson. He's been playing really well with the new offensive coordinator, despite all of the injuries that are happening around him. They're getting Keaton Mitchell back, so that'll be good to boost their running game. Yeah, they got a bunch of guys that just keep getting cycled out due to injury. They've been bit by the injury bug and haven't been able to heal themselves of that of that wound.
Right.
And I don't know if it's just they just keep taking gambles on injury-ridden players or what. But
You go and get Odell Beckham. You
Odell
got
Beckham, J.K. Dobbins,
Yeah.
Justice Hill, Gus Edwards. Who am I
Bateman's a little
missing?
banged up.
Rashad Bateman. Yeah. So, hey, Zay Flowers has been as advertised, and Lamar Jackson has been playing fantastic. So he's definitely deserving of that tier.
All right. And then MVPs. Josh Allen has moved into the MVP discussion. He's right now, if you go on FanDuel,
He's odds-on favorite.
He is the betting favorite for MVP right now. Patrick Mahomes, Tua Tagovailoa. I know Tua didn't have the greatest of games last week, But it was against Buffalo. It was
It
a tough
wasn't
team.
all his fault too. I
Wasn't
mean,
all
they
his
put
fault.
20 points on the Bills defense. He still had a 90 passer rating,
Right.
which is solid for going up against the best defense and best secondary in the league. So I wouldn't credit Tua. I wouldn't discredit Tua that much.
Right. So I'm still keeping him in the MVP conversation. I think he picks it back up, especially this week. And then Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he looked a little shaky against the Jets last week, but again, the Jets have a good defense. You just can't write the ship off of Mahomes. You just can't.
Never.
You can't. You'll always be in the
Patrick
MVP.
Mahomes.
You'll always be in the MVP talk, regardless of who he has in that team.
He's the greatest quarterback of our generation. I mean, Josh Allen is playing better than him through these last 3 weeks,
Mhm.
but it's still if you were to like have me rank the quarterbacks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 as a whole, it's still Patrick Mahomes. It's
Yep.
Patrick Mahomes until Josh Allen beats him in the playoffs.
Right. So that's the quarterback tier list. A little head shaker, some funniness. But Jordan, how do you feel about both of our tier lists?
Yours? I mean, like, I don't know.
Yo,
CJ Stroud thing, just Trevor Lawrence and all those guys being above him just kind of threw me off. I like Nico's, though. Nico's was
On
top
point.
tier.
Yeah, hell yeah.
well, I guess I'll go cry. On that being said, I'm going to close this computer. See you guys next week. But yeah, I just want to have fun with them, man. Maybe I wasn't being completely serious.
He's hiding behind
I'm hiding.
It's just a prank, guys.
It's just a prank. Ooh, wow. But yeah, if you guys have anything else to add before we shove off?
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Just follow us on all of our social medias. If you want to make some money, follow our X. Follow our TikToks because we post our plays on there as well.
Yep.
Follow the social medias. Make some money with us. Have a good time. Hang out with us Wednesday nights because you're not doing anything otherwise. It's a Wednesday night.
Wednesday night.
Let's be real.
Let's be real. All right, so that was episode 64 of the Big Yak Podcast. Just want to thank Jordan for coming on. I want to thank Joey. I want to thank Maranto and Emerge. I want to thank Matt Johnson and BICBP Radio Network. We will see you guys next week for episode 65 of the Big Yak Podcast. See you guys later.